Today and Across the Fence, commemorating the Battle of Plattsburgh on Lake Champlain, a decisive American victory against the British fleet in the War of 1812. Good afternoon and thanks for joining us. I'm Judy Simpson. 2014 marks the bicentennial of the Battle of Plattsburgh, and we're leading up to the Bicentennial Parade and a host of other special events and reenactments on the weekend of September 12th. Joining me are Don Wickman, who is director of the Kent Delord House Museum in Plattsburgh, and Craig Russell, who is a reenactor and member of the Battle of Plattsburgh Commemoration Committee. Thanks to both of you. Now, Craig, let's just start off talking a little bit about your attire because you look a little different than we do. Tell me about your outfit.
A little bit different, but I was going to say the same to how you're dressed, but we do have gray on, so we're quite similar. I'm dressed as a captain of the 15th U.S. Infantry. They were stationed at Plattsburgh during the battle. They're hand-picked Marines. As a reenactor, I've been reenacting in Plattsburgh since I graduated from college in 1973 and go back to '65 as a reenactor. My involvement in Battle of Plattsburgh has been since its inception, and we're looking forward to the bicentennial.
What do you like about the reenactment?
Educating the people. It's a commemoration. We want to let people know it was the signal battle that ended the War of 1812. And I hope that our bicentennial moment will be appreciated by the thousands that will show up. Where
did you get your outfit?
I make most of my uniforms and equipment and so forth, although in this case I've got several things that I buy from different suppliers.
Now it looks like it's going to be warm out. I would imagine you're going to be a little overheated maybe?
A little bit, but we're used to it.
Now Don, what is happening in Plattsburgh?
Well, we're focusing on so much, it's the bicentennial, crucial battle during the War of 1812, as Craig said. If it had gone the other way, the British might have had more of a bargaining chip when peace negotiations were going on. But I think the key is that this is going to be bigger than most because it's a bicentennial. Activities actually start on August 30th and go till September 14th.
Amazing.
Yes,
now, Craig,
it's a long time.
What are some of the events occurring?
We have the encampment at the Kent Delord House Museum. Don is our director there and a very good host. We also have a parade, in which case we will have this year a street battle, which will commemorate the Bridge Street occurrence in Plattsburgh. An evening cannon barrage Saturday evening, as well as a bateau race Saturday morning.
Let's talk a little bit about the encampment. How many people will participate in this? How many reenactors will be there?
In excess of 175.
Wow.
In excess, if you're going to include family, women, children, so forth, I think we'll probably have about 225.
Now, where do these folks come from?
All over New England, New York State, and a lot of Canadians. We have from Ontario and Quebec.
So what else do you have going on?
We have battle in Beekmantown on Saturday morning. That's the first bloody encounter that happened on September 6th. Amongst other things, we will have, like I say, the bateau race, preparing, we have demonstrators at the encampment. We've got blacksmiths and so forth.
Why do you think it's important to have those demonstrators?
Well, it gives you an idea of the times. Everything was made by hand. We have, you just didn't go to the store and buy everything that you had. You'd go to the blacksmith, you'd go to the cooper, you would go to the shoemaker, you'd go to these tradesmen to get your items.
So Donna, I also understand there's a junior encampment as well?
Right. Through funding of by the New York State Humanities, we're providing this wonderful opportunity for kids of all ages, I stress there, to come and learn about 10 and go to 10 to 11 different stations on learning different things, from making cartridges, soldiering, making butter, cooking. And it's all going to be on Saturday. We have a whole number of volunteer educators that are donating their time to run through this. So it's hands-on. And as we say, this is all free also to come in and enjoy this. Other things, there's other activities going on all around City Hall. And as I said, as Craig was talking about the parade, it's actually going to feature 13 bands from Canada and the United States.
Amazing.
It's one grand affair.
Tell me a little bit more about the junior encampment and why you think it's important to have kids participate in this way.
I think we just need to educate the younger population more about history in general. And I find out that when you're, maybe when you're 10, 11, 12, you can be bitten by the bug for history. So if you get excited about it, then you're going to carry that with you for the rest of your life. So if we get them and they're excited about some of these trades and everything, it might make them look into careers in history and reading more and understanding what our history is. And hands-on is the best way to do it. And
also realizing, too, this happened right here. You're standing in a place where this all took place.
Exactly, exactly. We know for sure that right at the Kent Lord House, British artillery was right there. On either side of the house, there were batteries. Artillery officers stayed in the Kent Lord House.
Well, the Battle of Plattsburgh was fought on both land and Lake Champlain, but the naval battle was really the critical engagement. How is that battle going to be commemorated?
That's a Craig question.
Okay.
The exciting part of this bicentennial commemoration is the fact that we will be reenacting the major points of the battle. They had, each side had a squadron of 4 ships. We'll have 3 ships, as well as bateaux, acting as gunboats. But we will supply them, the public, with the details, major details, including the Saratoga having sprung, which means turn around during the action, which essentially won the naval engagement. We're praying for good weather and hope that if with good weather and so forth, we can reenact this.
Well, Don, talk a little bit about the size and scope of this commemoration.
Well, being one that went through the American Bicentennial for the American Revolution in the 70s and 80s, is that there's only, as they say up around Plattsburgh so often, is there's only one bicentennial. So you save that, the next big event would be 250 or 300 years, and most of us aren't going to be around to celebrate it again. But it's that wonderful opportunity, is that it's a big commemoration for a major event that occurred. So that's why they're pulling out all stops during this time. And again, to make people aware that this occurred. Mm-hmm. And it was a major part of history.
Let's talk a little bit about the Kent Lord House and its place in history.
Okay. Well, it was built in 1797, but the key event is that it was one of the major houses in the village of Plattsburgh at this time. It had been vandalized by a British raid the year before in 1813, and once again here come the British, and they understand that it is a prime location for them to build artillery batteries facing the Americans across the bay where the Saranac River drains in. So it was right there, and then we have furniture in the collections that was actually in the house from 1814. But the prime artifact that we have is one of the British artillery companies left behind a mess chest in the rush to retreat. And we have that on display. And it's like, here's an artifact right from 1814 that we can pinpoint and show off.
Incredible.
Yes.
And so, Craig, this is obviously a very family-oriented event. You were encouraging folks to bring the whole family.
Oh, yes. Yes. Besides the junior encampment, there are plenty of activities in the downtown area for kids and families. I would say we have kids' games. They drill down there also. Besides the junior encampment, they have a drill session down there. You get a chance to climb to the top of the McDonough Monument if you so choose. And again, between that plus the after parade activities, which includes a beat retreat, which I don't think there's anything in the Northeast in the United States that's comparable. We have mass bands, pipe bands, marching bands, and they get together, they play in front of the public in turn, and at the end they play taps, which after which we fire salutes, which commemorates the loss of the men involved in the battle.
Mm-hmm. And so, Don, is there a cost to this?
Yes. For those over 18, there's a button that you can buy for $15, and that will let you into every single event that there's a charge. And all of these are listed in the program booklet, which is going to be mammoth this year. It's going to be 92 pages. This last year's was only 62 pages, so it just shows you what's going on. But there's such an array. You can, I'll probably say it again, but it's probably the most worthwhile $15 you can spend, because it's good for 16 days of activity.
That's incredible.
Right. So it's, and also with that break is that you're, you know, under 18 is free. That's wonderful. And one thing that's really family oriented to a degree also is that the local Boy Scout districts are coming in for a camporee on the oval of the old military base, and there's going to be 800 Boy Scouts also joining in.
What fun.
Right. They're going to be all over the place. But I think the key is just the cost is reasonable for everything that you're going to get. And because it's not an expensive, I mean, it's not an inexpensive activity to coordinate for 16 days. And this has now been, has just grown, leading to this climax for 17 years.
Craig, maybe you can tell us a little bit about the process of planning this massive event.
Well, it started halfway through planning last year's event. So I'd say we've been at it for about 18, 19 months at this point. It involves starting with a checklist of every activity you want to have, and then just planning, developing each aspect through the committees.
Mm-hmm. And so, Don, tell me a little bit about your participation in this.
Well, as the director of the Kent Delord House, we're one of the center of the activities because of the encampment there, and also the site of the junior encampment. So, being the new director there, I haven't worked through one of these actually. I visited last year during the 2013 event, got a feel for what it was like, observed that, enjoyed the mass bands that were playing. There's a bed race actually that goes on downtown also, which attracts the SUNY Plattsburgh students. So you get that population. Went to the Israel Green Tavern, so I did capture a flavor of what it's like. But without the work like of Craig to coordinate, he's made my job much easier because he's familiar with all the reenactors, and it's just a wonderful opportunity for people to come and see the living history. It's what we're selling there, the hands-on, talk to the reenactors, learn about what they're wearing, why they do this, what are they eating. And also you're in a perfect environment of having a house that was a witness to the entire event.
It's incredible. It's like turning a page back in history and just being plopped down in the middle of it.
Exactly, exactly.
And so where can people find out about what the schedule is and what's going to be happening on each particular day? Wonderful
website to go visit, www.champlain1812.com. It will list every single thing that's going on, all the schedule. If you actually printed off a Word document, it's 9 pages long.
Wow.
But when you get your button, you can you'll get one of the programs, so you can start leafing through and figuring out what you're going to do during that time. So, and it's not all about commemoration, because there's actually a concert poster that has been produced. There's 10 musical events that are starting up, I believe, on the 5th or 6th that will run all the way through. So if you're into music, you can do things every evening. There's 2 sets of fireworks, one on Friday the 12th, and one the day before over Crab Island, which is where there's unmarked graves to the dead for the battle. Anything else you want to add, Craig?
Don had mentioned this is a commemoration. We commemorate the sacrifices of those that fought and died at Plattsburgh. I'd also say that if we celebrate, we celebrate the peace.
All right, well, I want to thank you both for joining us today. That's our program for today. I'm Judy Simpson. We'll see you again next time on Across the Fence.